my God.
My God.
Oh my God.
Let's get into it.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Look at that shirt.
Okay, so challenge accepted once again. I match our book this week for book club, which is Revenge of the Wannabes. Pink and green. I do not have any green on, but I do have on a pink and white striped.
No, your microphone is green. The light around it is green.
The light's green.
It.
Nailed it.
Yes. Good job.
And I do have to disclose that this really is becoming a challenge, much like the wardrobe challenge in Best Friends for Never, because this is technically a pajama shirt. This isn't even a real shirt. And in the spirit of that...
Don't tell it to the shirt. That shirt thinks it's legit.
Well, in the spirit of that, I'm not wearing a bra. So just also felt like I needed to disclose that. Like, I can't do it anymore. Which is
actually very on topic because there's a lot of boob talk in this book. A lot.
Wow. Oh
so
my God.
Way to really bring it twice.
Perfect.
You
well, I'm PMSing, so I'm swollen and a bra hurts right now. And so that's, very correct. I feel like I did when I was in 7th grade reading the Clique books and like getting my period and my boobs hurt for no reason. Like that's, so things never changed. I mean, the other books are going to be more of a challenge. Like pink is actually probably the only color that I do have outside of black. But I took my bra off, truth be known, because I had a black bra on and it did show through the shirt. And I was too lazy to put a nude bra on because I don't even know where it is because I wear it so infrequently.
Well, I love your commitment to your 2026 challenge of wearing color once a month and dressing like the book cover. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Speaking of books, Revenge of the Wannabes, let's get into it. Released, this is wild to me, March 2nd, 2005. 21 years ago.
Yep. I was pregnant with Luke at the time, as I recall, only from the date. I would not have remembered. Isn't that terrible? So once again, I had to pay for this book to reread it because my books are in storage. So looking forward to that royalty check coming in hot this month.
2
Might
whole
get
cents.
7 cents from it. But yes, wow. Let's just jump into, I am horrified. Like,
oh no.
Horrified by the content of this book. Horrified.
Why? It's actually the most brutal read. When I did my series reread for our Substack, this one in particular was like very painful. And I think it was painful for me because, you know, I'm partial to my girl. I love me some Alicia Rivera. And this is a rough go for our Latin princess. It's a rough go.
It really is. I am shocked and apologetic and stunned. If I had to look beneath all of the horrific insults and violations, which we will get to in our NFL list, the no-fly list, which is like 11 pages long.
Yeah.
It is a book about authenticity and fakeness, and there's like a fake thing running through here.
To pick up where we left off, at the end of Best Friends for Never, Alicia cheats in the fashion design contest with Olivia Ryan, her new friend, and they quote unquote win the contest, which they did not win the contest. Massey and her team won the contest in all reality. So there's hell to pay. Basically, is the bottom line. I think that Massey, one, feels extremely betrayed. Her friend left her and is now in cahoots with this other rando, Olivia. Like, get out of here. So now the group and the ecosystem of the group is threatened, which is always a bad thing for Miss Block. Secondly, she stabbed her friend in the back, so there's a feeling of betrayal there because she cheated. And then also just the pure Massey Block of like, she didn't win outwardly to the rest of OCD and her world.
Right.
So
optics are involved. It's a 3-part gun punch. In defense of Massey, those are 3 really painful punches.
100%.
She deserves to feel horrible.
Yeah.
Her revenge is insane. It's diabolical. It reminds me of a certain president. And this is not a political podcast. And I'm not going to pretend it is, but I could not stop thinking about some parallels with certain administrations and this feeling of like, you cross me, you are done.
Yeah.
There's also like some voter fraud stuff happening here. which also felt a little bit timely. You know, Massey accusing Alicia of faking an election, basically. You know, I couldn't help but finding little parallels.
Lacey,
That's the end of my political.
I just left my body. I'm sorry, I was totally listening to you, but kind of not really. I just, like, again, we've talked about this so many times, like the way that you're so innately just connected to these characters. All of this is in the new book for our girl, these themes.
There is a fake thing that Alicia does in the new book. And I noticed, again, Alicia is in a relationship in the new book, and this person is constantly correcting her posture. It's just like a little thing he does. And then I read in this book, you know, she demonstrated perfect jazz posture. Like posture was a thing for Alicia back then. And it still is now. And this is where I freak myself out because they're so true to character 25 years later. They are still themselves. And
it's mind-blowing.
It really is. Like, I don't mean to freak myself out with my...
No, I didn't even realize it. That's what I'm saying. It's like I until we were just talking about it, like literally right now, I did not make that connection.
Yeah.
At all.
It's a wild thing to experience. That like we know them so well that they're still them. The same way that we are still us 25 years later. We're just in different sizes, hanging out with different people. We have different ways of illustrating our inherent character traits. Wow, we are doing a good job on this new book.
So, no, we really are. You really are.
I know.
Like, seriously.
We are. It's incredible. It's incredible.
Well, Revenge of the Wannabes. So what's really interesting about enough about us. Back to Alicia. What's really interesting is that this is the first book in the series. I mean, it's only book 3, but this is really the first time that we have a POV outside of Massey and Claire. And when I did my reread, I was so taken. I was like, oh, it really is Alicia's book. Like Revenge of the Wannabes feels almost like her story and her narrative, right? So why did you just feel a calling to that? Do you even recall, like, at the time being like, okay, this is where we make it a little more dynamic and, like, we bring her point of view into this? I guess it just seems natural because she starts to stray from the group.
So much of the purpose behind this series is to show the reasons why we act mean. And it's never just because somebody is born mean and therefore they are mean. There is something driving it. It's usually an insecurity. It's usually this feeling of less than. Mm-hmm. And so because there's such intense revenge happening back and forth and meanness to like a degree that I honestly forgot about, Alicia would just come off as a monster if we didn't understand what was driving her. At the beginning of the book, Alicia is talking about like forming a new sleepover with girls, right?
Oh,
Isn't it Catherine, this girl that she's possibly going to form a sleepover with, kind of pushes Alicia's button, is like, well, don't you have a say in who you hang out with? Because Alicia's worried, well, if I have a sleepover with anyone else, Massey's going to kill me. And Catherine shines a light right on it and is like, well, don't you have a say in who you hang out with? Why are you so worried about Massey? And then Catherine continues on by saying, you know, it's so funny. I thought you were always the one that made the rules. And that just taps right into Alicia's like beta complex, which is
her
like,
ego.
God, her ego and this fear, this feeling of I'm always living in Massey's shadow. And the fact that other people are sort of shining a light on it amplifies it and intensifies it for her and makes her feel even more pathetic than she already did. And it's important to see that in her point of view and to feel that in her point of view. And there's no way we would get that insight if we weren't in her point of view. So because it was like a direct, intense battle with her, it was very important to show what's driving her, or else we would just hate her flat out.
Yeah. But again, like what's so funny is like perception is such a funny thing because to the rest of the school and to the guys, especially at Briarwood, like we learned throughout the series, like Alicia's kind of their queen bee because she's hot and she's, you know, like she has all of these things going on for her that I think from the outside looking in, a lot of their peers wouldn't even think of her as a beta.
Right. But isn't that so telling of so many of us in real
Yes,
life? Like
absolutely.
That perception of like, well, she's a model. What could she possibly have to feel insecure about? Or they're a
Totally.
billionaire. What are they worried about? Like,
Totally.
perception and what's going on internally are so very different. And so that's also another way of showing, just because everyone thinks she's hot, she's not going around feeling hot. She's going around feeling less than.
I know, but then it's also interesting because it's like they all bring different things to the group. It's a perfect marriage. Like, they all have their archetypes, of course. Like, that's just good writing, obviously. Like, they're all such well-defined characters and they're all uniquely different. But that's how it is in life, though, too. It's like, okay, this is what she brings to the table. And that's different than what Massey brings to the table. And that's also, like, okay. But they don't have the wisdom or nuance or age to accept that yet, you know?
No. It's all about standing and social status and optics and that's how they get their worth at that age. Nobody's out there like getting jobs or auditioning for roles that they get. This is the only measure they have for their self-worth at this point in their lives. Oh my God. Okay, so wait.
So what horrified you the most, like in terms of the bullying of Alicia, can I guess?
Yeah, you can guess.
The painting.
Oh my God.
It's so
That
awful.
was really bad. That was really bad. So
traumatized me when I reread the book recently. I had completely forgotten that.
So had I. The mural, the girls painted a mural about Alicia and
cheating.
like cheating. Yeah.
And
evil.
leaving the group and kicking
You
her
know
out
what
of the
actually got me more, like really broke my heart, was when Massey made Claire put the note from Cam in the paint.
Oh my God. I
that
know.
was so
mean.
awful.
So
It
mean.
Claire was carrying around this sweet love letter from Cam, and Massey was like, "Oh, prove you don't like him, then drop it in this paint." Devastating. That broke my heart.
So, no, she's especially, I think it might be of the entire series, like her most vicious is this book. Like, it's really, really, really bad.
It is. And at the same time, again, I'm not saying this justifies it, but when you get to see that her whole life, everything she had a grip on is gone. She is being shown that we don't need you. Everyone's replaceable. We can move on without you. For someone who gets their whole self-worth from mattering so deeply to not mattering at all, like she's desperate. And not to mention the administration, because this is not a political podcast, but we all are seeing what happens when somebody feels like their power might be jeopardized or threatened. If you are a certain type of person that needs that power and reverence to feel important, you are going to tantrum in an adult-sized way and do whatever you can to bring people back to you or the illusion of such. So that's what we're seeing here in Small People.
But at the same time, Alicia cheated. She left her friend group. Like, Massey does feel very betrayed. However, do you think that the punishment fits the crime? It's too much.
No.
It's too mean.
No, none of this fits anything. Nobody should have done anything that they did. Alicia shouldn't have cheated, and it all should have stopped there. But these are people that don't have the skills yet to manage their internal conflict and their external friend battles. They don't know how to do it. And they're doing it as badly as anybody could possibly do it. It is awful what they do to each other. And that they keep going back to each other in the end is so fascinating. Is that love?
It's almost like a toxic relationship.
Yes.
Like, or is there comfort in the toxicity? Like, it's so consistent
the
that
devil you
it's
know.
comforting. Yeah, it's the devil
and
you know.
They do love stuff about each other. There's a moment at the very end after they go completely diabolical, destroyed like this Christmas window treatment with like the photo shoot with full physical violence. And it's as bad as it could possibly get. And then there's this moment where through it all, Alicia and Massey lock eyes. And there's this like magnetic pull between the two of them. And they just start laughing. They just start laughing at the ridiculousness of it all, the intensity, and then the comfort and familiarity of, yeah, I can try and replace you. Alicia tries to replace her whole clique with like physical versions of
Strawberry.
Her other friends. Yeah, who look like Dylan and Kristen, and she's trying to create this whole fake version, and she realizes they're just not as good as my girls.
Yeah.
And there's
You can't force
something
it.
so dysfunctional and beautiful about that at the same time.
Totally. Oh my God. Okay, well, let's get into it. So Claire and Cam are like on in this book. Like, he's writing her little love notes. Should we address that, like, they're not together? the adult book. Do we just let them know now, or do we not? Is
Yes.
that a bad spoiler?
No,
we
you
let
know
them
what?
know.
I'm willing to spoil it.
Okay.
They are not together in the new book, okay?
I get the comment all the time. Please tell me Claire and Cam are together. Couples goals. I'm like,
No.
I hate.
We
to
thought
disappoint
about
you.
this. We did. We
talked
thought about this.
it.
But come
Yes.
on, how many of you are with your 12-year-old crush? Like, let's get real. If they were still together, we would not be doing our jobs at all.
No, scary.
It's creepy. Very few people are with their 12-year-old crush. So we had to make this seem somewhat realistic in that
Right.
they've all met other people in the last 25 years.
Yes.
Sorry.
Sorry to break
So,
your hearts. They
let
are
the
not
comments-
together
yeah.
as adults. But there's mention, like, it's not like there's cam erasure. So don't worry about that. There's like
Right.
some stuff.
It comes up-ish.
It comes
but,
up.
You know,
What do you think
no.
happened to them? Did they date all the way through high school?
they kept going for a lot longer than one might think.
Yeah.
But then it just did become like we have to go our separate ways. I feel like we killed that darling, and I'm sorry. I feel confident in our decision.
But anyway, so the boys of it all, that definitely creates a whole competition. It's like an added competition for the girls, of course. What's funny is like that's when I remember things starting to get ugly in about 7th grade ish was when boys really came into the fold and like
Oh my God.
we all liked 4 of us liked the same boy at the same
Exactly.
time and yeah, it's just chaos.
Nothing will tell you you're not good enough than your crush liking somebody else. Done. You get all your value and self-worth from like how these relationships at that age, how you're measuring up compared to other people. That's literally like your only gauge for how good you are. It's insane, but that's what we do. Wow. So Massey learns that Cam likes Claire, not her. This girl's just getting it, this book. She is getting the beat down, the confidence beat down. But then she's getting signs that Darrington likes her, and it terrifies her. So she's not ready the way Claire is ready for a boyfriend. Claire's ready.
Oh, totally.
That girl's
Which,
ready.
Like she went to like co-ed school, public school in Florida. She's been around boys. She's at this natural progression stage of like being, you know, a 7th grader and like wanting a boyfriend.
And she wants boy energy. Like this girl energy is not healthy, as
It's-
she's learned.
Amen.
So she wants some boy energy. Massey just wants the cred. Massey just wants to be liked the most. She doesn't care. She's not ready for a boyfriend. She just doesn't want to lose to someone else. So their motivations are very different. So we're very glad that Claire and Cam end up together. They
Yes.
should.
As
But
they
it is
should.
just a feeding frenzy of insanity in this book.
Was this inspired by an experience? Because I know you remember feelings like so vividly. Were you Massey in this scenario at any point in time with like liking boys where like you liked someone and they liked your friend? Or were you the Claire where like a boy that your friend liked you?
Of course. Like, yes and yeah. That happens
Both.
all the time. It happened
Yeah.
all the time. It's not, there was no particular situation. And I can tell you quite honestly, like when it did happen, there was never any, gang warfare. Like it just
actual
hurt.
issues.
And
Yeah.
no, nobody was evil like this, but it caused tension and it was uncomfortable,
Oh
but it
my
was
God.
never like a full freaking beatdown. I mean, I'm shocked. Yeah, I want to talk about one more thing. There was one thing that I really stumbled on here. Claire's extreme show of power in this book was really evident. There was one moment where I thought she was making a power move, like they had another sleepover and Massey found out about it. And Claire sort of looked at Massey like, yeah, what are you going to do about it? Unapologetic, full eye contact. And in my notes, I wrote, wow, this is a power move. And then I rethought it and I'm like, no, that was not the power move because she had all the friends with her on her side. So it wasn't real innate cellular power. It was just like, well,
right.
now I have all the things. So for a minute I thought, oh, wow, that was a powerful moment for Claire. She really like gave it to Massey with her eyes. Then I was like, no, she didn't. Here's when Claire was at her most powerful and really like so proud of her. Lane got a headgear. And this is actually a moment from my life, which is so embarrassing, but I'll get to that in a minute. Lane got a headgear and she owned that headgear. Do you know what a headgear is?
Of course.
Okay. I don't think they make those
And
anymore. I don't think
they
kids
don't
have
do
to wear
that.
those anymore.
They don't
Yeah.
subject children to that anymore.
They don't. Like my kids just don't go through ugly phases anymore. It pisses me off. But anyway, Lane had a headgear, which was like a metal like metal that sticks into your teeth, and then there's a bar across your face fastened by a strap at the back of your head. Like, we did not stand a chance. But Lane decides to own this. She put magnets on it, dangled keychains from it, and flashing green and pink lights. And it looked like a decorated Christmas tree branch was in orbit around her jaw. Now, it said Tanya Fuchs said I look like I crashed into Spencer's gifts, but I think I looked festive. Now, Alicia said to Claire, basically, how can you be friends with her? And Claire said, how can I not? And that to me was such a tender moment. I just loved that that's when, like, when it was at her most embarrassing, Claire stood up for her and didn't care about optics and everything else. And then Claire said to Massey, I don't care if you throw things at me in the halls or spread rumors about me. I'd rather be a complete loser than have you as a friend. And that was her power, when she just stood up for the weirdo in her life and just was like, I'm good. I don't need you. And nobody's ever really said that to her and meant it. And in that moment, Claire meant it. And that was power. I was very proud of our girl.
Well, I think a lot of her mindset changes in this book because the system is so disrupted. Claire, on her first day at OCD and meeting the Pretty Committee, would have never in a million years thought that Alicia would somehow be out. But now she's out. The whole thing is turned upside down. And so not only does it give her the kind of awakening, I think, of like, this is also fleeting. And like, even the ones who I deemed untouchable are out.
The mighty have fallen, yeah.
The mighty have fallen. And I also think it gives her more confidence within that group because, like, really, Alicia is Massey's first in command. Like, right hand over Kristen and Dylan, for sure. Right up there next to her in terms of, like, the ranking system. And with her gone, it gives Claire the opportunity to kind of rise up in the system also. So I think she just overall, like, has more confidence surrounding all of it.
Well, she doesn't get her value the same way. These girls get their value for how revered they are, how obeyed they are. That was never Claire's currency. That's never how she felt powerful. If she felt powerful from the connection she had, the friendship she had, the genuine relationships. And, you know, you realize you're only as powerful as the people who believe in you, in you. Like, it's just smoke and mirrors. If that's your measure for power, you're out the second people stop believing in you, or, you know, obeying you. It doesn't go deeper than that, and that's what was happening. So they were getting a real glimpse into their fragility.
Totally. And things are fragile. Like, what's interesting is not as much happens in terms of plot. Like, Best Friends Forever, it's like they had the Halloween party, they had the fashion show, like all these events were going on, and like Revenge of the Wannabes doesn't have that as much, but there's so much that goes on in the relationships, and it's like so tumultuous, which I guess leads me to like, should we go into our NFL?
We should. I just want to say too, before we do that, the end, which was just so Clique in that they just have been through frontlines hell. They have finally recovered. The dust has finally settled. All is right in the world for a second. Only to find out that the Lions are moving off the Blocks property. And for the Massey's like, no, like she's going to miss Claire. And I think she wouldn't have valued Claire as much had Claire not stood up to her like that and declared, like, I don't need you. I don't need you. I don't worship you. I don't care. And that's how she got respect for Claire. The same way that's how she got respect for Darrington, who was just calling her out on shit. Not to one up her just because he's like, yeah, I'm not that impressed. I'm not scared of you. And that's the only way she can really respect people. Like, it's this weird dichotomy of, I only respect you if you don't worship me, but I only like you if you worship me. How do you win that one?
It's a lot.
It's a lot. Okay, speaking of a lot, the NFL list, no-fly list.
Okay, so explain this. I love the segment that you've created, the NFL.
I do too. Okay. This is a segment called the no-fly list where I will mention some lines in the Clique book that would never fly today. Never, never. And I just want to bring some other people into the crime. It's not just me. Obviously, I will take responsibility for this stuff. This was not flagged by editors, Scholastic Book Club, moms. Nobody had a problem with this stuff. Well, not nobody. I'm sure some people did. But for the most part, none of what I am about to share with you was flagged or asked to be removed from the book.
Publishers, Alloy, all these people that went through.
Everybody was like, yeah, that's great. It's when you know better, you do better. I know better, and I am doing better. And we all are. But welcome to the time capsule that was 2005. Okay. But at that moment, Alicia thought Meredith's opinion was just as important as a pretty person's. Okay, would that fly today? No. Clearly, your jaw's on the ground. That would not fly. This was just a no fly because she turned whatever, they pass notes with paper. That wouldn't fly today just because, like, nobody uses paper. So that's a gentle one.
The girls are texting.
Should I read the one about, like, fake Spanish?
Oh,
Massey says, we all know your father is Fanish. Fake Spanish. I happen to know his real name is Len Rivers, not Len Rivera. He's from Brooklyn, not Barcelona. And he made up that last name so your grandmother would bless their marriage. So please stop trying to impress us. Would that fly?
I think so.
Possibly. Yeah. Okay. I'm easing you in. Now, keep in mind Alicia's 12. She's talking to this woman, Lucinda, who works for Teen Vogue. Lucinda says, when I was in 7th grade, I was a total beast. I had no boobs. Alicia folded her arms across her chest when she noticed Lucinda checking her out. How much did you pay for those? Lucinda asked. A 12-year-old. I bet they were at least $5,000 a pop. I didn't pay for these. I would never. And then Lucinda says, hey, Barnaby, come look at this girl's boob job. It's perfect.
To an adult, like, man.
Yeah.
No, that's insane.
No, not fly. Not fly. Here's another one from Lucinda, who is all things wrong in the world. Again, she works at Teen Vogue.
Lucinda? She's
like a
crazy.
Yeah, she's okay. Lucinda says, well, aren't you excitable? If my assistant were here, I'd send her out to get you some Ritalin ASAP.
Oh my God. But I remember, like, people used to make jokes about Ritalin and stuff. Like, that was like a thing when I was.
Yeah.
I remember that. That was part of the zeitgeist for whatever reason.
Here's another one from Lucinda. All I care about is that you stay gorgeous. Gain a pound between now and the shoot, and I'll take a town car straight to Winchester and kick your butt.
Lucinda's crazy.
Yeah, she also said Winchester, not Westchester, but that's how little shits she gives. Okay, here Olivia is trying to decide if she should get a tattoo on her ankle or low back. Again, 12.
I think that would fly for me, but I don't think like a publisher or so. Like, you know what I mean? I don't think that the powers that be would let that fly. But I'm letting it fly.
It's illegal. I would not let this one fly. There were a bunch of moments where Alicia said "whatevs," and that made me cringe. I cringe so hard.
Said it, though.
I know, but I really tried not to be trendy like that with the lingo. I tried to make up my own. So I was very cringed out every time Alicia said whatevs. So that would be a no fly for me today.
I don't know. That's what's funny though, like thinking about it, like we all said that. So I don't even think that it registered with me of it being like lingo.
But it does for me.
It's just the language that we all spoke.
Oh, my mom said if I lose 10 pounds, she'll get me a nose job. Massey looked at Dylan's tiny button nose. Do you want a nose job? Nah, Dylan said. She was just trying to be nice.
Oh my gosh. But isn't that based off of a true story?
It's a true story that I heard this girl I worked at MTV. Her name was Caddy.
Yeah.
So funny. And she said, my mom said if I lose 10 pounds, she'd get me a nose job. And Caddy was like, I didn't know there was something wrong with my nose. That is one of my favorite things I've heard of all time. I think I actually use it again in State of the Reunion.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
I don't think it would, again, I love it, but I don't think that publishers, editors, sensitivity readers, like those people would not let that fly now.
Well,
no.
They're going to read it again in State of the Reunion.
Well, yeah, but they're adults. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like, it's different because they're kids. Like, I don't think they would let it fly.
Here's one that definitely would not fly. Dylan's mother is taking her to St. Bart's to do some sort of weight loss thing, and they call it St. Barf's. You're going to St. Barf's for a weight loss situation. No fly. Lead balloon. And to follow that, we love you no matter how fat you are. I mean, here's the thing. I just want to say, before I go any further, this does not reflect my take on people, on boobs, on weight. It was satirical and a reflection of our culture at the time.
Yeah.
It was done to shine a light on the dysfunction. I have never, ever gone through life with these thoughts, just holding up a mirror.
Totally.
Moving on. Here's one. A joke that the girl who is on the school announcement thing, she likes to tell jokes. So she told this one to the entire school. What do you call 7 jeans for fat chicks? 8s.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Which, by the way, what happened to 7 jeans? Like, do they still exist? They were the best.
They were
loved
everything.
7s back in the,
Yeah.
oh my God. It was like all I wore at that time. I mean, yeah, they were the best jeans ever. And I felt
know.
so fancy.
And it felt like that was the new era of designer jeans. Like they kind of
100%.
heralded in the designer jean resurgence.
The page, the mother, like all of that. Yeah.
Citizens of Humanity,
Yes,
like
yes.
all of it. Yeah. Yeah.
True Religion was also big, like, which they're so ugly. But, like, that time's literally a lyric in my hum. 7
my
jeans,
God.
True Religion. Like, that was a whole moment.
Dude, True
Those
Religion.
jeans.
Meanwhile, kids now are thrifting them ironically. Like they're kind of
yeah.
coming back.
Yeah.
Ish.
Oh, my God.
But
It's
horrible.
hysterical.
The term wife beaters for tank tops, no fly. Here's one. Kristen is saying this to a girl who lives in her apartment building about how she's poor. You have no money, probably because your mother spent her entire savings on those facelifts that made her look like Michael Jackson. The girl responds, she needed them for her sinuses. She had a deviated septum. And then Kristen says, so they removed her entire nose? No. Uh-huh.
I literally had this conversation with a friend, though, the other day. I was like, can we just acknowledge that as a culture, we don't talk about the fact that Michael Jackson just, like, turned himself into a white woman? Can we just, like, discuss? Like, it's fucking crazy. Like,
Crazy.
What?
That was a choice.
Insane. Like, it literally looks like Kris Jenner. It was so crazy. And so this is what's wild about Michael Jackson, too. I talked to my parents about this recently. That was the only Michael Jackson that we knew.
Oh, wow.
Like,
yes.
we
See,
weren't
I knew
alive.
the OG. I knew him when he was like 5.
We weren't alive for Jackson 5, Off the Wall, Thriller. Like, I missed it all. And
That's
so
a shame.
the
Because
Michael
Off
Jackson,
the Wall was
Right.
incredible.
Oh, it's the best
Incredible.
album ever. I love, yeah. Incredible. It's unfortunate. But the Michael Jackson that my generation knew, like our formative years, was like scary white woman with no nose dangling a baby off of a balcony. Like that's what we knew. So like it's not correct, that joke and that insult. Like that's something that would have been, it's very authentic to like our experience growing up
So
in
would
the
it
2000s.
fly? Do you think it would fly?
Again, I would let it fly. This is the thing. I think everyone's such a weenie. There's some stuff that I'm like, I think it would fly because it's accurate.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
would say if doing it again, I would cut the fat jokes, the gratuitous fat jokes, and yeah, that I would definitely do.
I know, but that was, again, like that was a reflection of the culture. It
Yes.
would not fly today because our culture's changed.
That's not our culture. That's
right.
yes.
Like when I was a 7th grader and everything that I saw was like Lindsay Lohan, Paris Hilton, like a rail walking in and out of the club, Kate Moss. It was very that's what it was. We didn't have diverse body image
Shapes.
Yeah. There was none of that
No.
going on. So again, like, no, it wouldn't fly because it wouldn't fly in our culture today, but it's extremely true to that era.
It is. Speaking of, they're talking about Strawberry, who was the fake Dylan that Alicia was trying to recreate a friend group that looked like her original Clique girls. So she picked a girl named Strawberry who had red hair. And she says, basically, your hair color came from a packet of Kool-Aid. And by the looks of those thighs, your name should be Pear, not Strawberry. What?
So brutal. That's
Awful.
rough.
Here's one that just wouldn't fly because it's not. They each got $300 to go on a shopping spree in the meatpacking district. $300.
Lol.
What would $300 get you in the meatpacking district today? Maybe a
pair of
grilled cheese
jeans.
sandwich.
A pair of jeans.
And like a Diet Coke.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. A pair of jeans
A pair of
before tax. Maybe if they're having a 25% off sale. But like
It would
wow.
get you a pair of jeans and like what else could you? I'm thinking of the stores in meatpacking now.
No, you
oh
couldn't.
my God. I can't. It's like what? I mean, yeah.
Nothing.
I'm
Frame
a
jeans?
spree,
No.
You could get one thing with $300, maybe. Yeah.
Maybe. And that is so crazy because at the time in 2005, $300 was supposed to represent like a decent chunk of money.
Yeah.
So Those days are over.
Totally.
And then I'm going to end on this. She's lucky I didn't take one of those leather belts to her.
Oh my
So,
God.
yeah, there we go.
But also,
So-
like,
Go. Say it. Safe space. Safe space.
oh my God. That was a way of discipline that was used, like, even, I think it ended at my generation. I don't think past us, like, I don't think people are parenting that way anymore. And
No.
to like
No.
a much more opposite extreme. Like, I think like the gentle, don't even get me started on the gentle
I can't.
parenting.
That's a whole other episode.
Bullshit.
Like, for real.
But-
For real.
Totally. But I think that kids now would be floored to know that we were disciplined that way. Like, that reference, not only would it not fly because like people aren't doing that anymore, like I don't even think like a 7th grader would understand that like people
Right.
used to get hit with a leather belt. I don't
Right.
think they even know that that happened. I don't think they would even get it today.
Parents are shamed right now for letting their kids go to the frickin' park. Don't get me started. That is another episode. But this was abusive in a whole different way.
Right.
And yeah, I'm kind of accepting full responsibility and absolving myself at the same time. I'm not saying because everyone did it, it was okay,
yeah.
but I am,
Right.
sort of.
Before we move on, I also want to talk about the fact that there's a lot of abbreviations used in this book, introduced in this
Oh,
book. I
yes.
think this is the first time we hear of a GLU, which obviously is Girls Like Us.
Girls like us.
It's of all of them, it's the one that I like ran with throughout my whole life. Like before I even reconnected with you, my friend Crystal and I would be like, she's a GLU. We continued saying it like well into adult life. Was that influenced by texting culture that was just being introduced at that time? Like LOL?
No, it was literally introduced by my friend Cheryl, who
Stop.
is from Orlando, and that's where I got the Claire's from Orlando thing. Cheryl used to say PLU, people like us. She's like, she's not a PLU. And so I fully lifted it from Cheryl and just
I
made
love
it
Cheryl.
GLU. Cheryl's the best.
Wow.
Yeah. So we met sharing an office at MTV. Cheryl, shout out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, in the spirit of the book, every week on our show, we do our current State of the Union. But for book club, I think we kind of decided that it would be fun to pick a State of the Union from Revenge of the Wannabes. Did you have a favorite? Please tell me what your favorite State of the Union from Revenge of the Wannabes was.
It was the one where Massey's using all of the self-help references. I forgot about that. And I was always big on self-help books. And the fact that her mother had a self-help book club and then just dumped all the self-help books on Massey's bed when Massey was going through a hard time.
Oh my
And
God.
she read them for advice on how to handle her situation. That was her in and out list. She used it as guidance.
Okay, my favorite was the one where Q&A was mentioned. Do you know what I'm talking about? Okay, so
Tell
the
me.
in was in Dr. Juice, out Starbucks, in loofahs, out spray tans, in Rivers, out Rivera's. Hilarious. Back to that. In Q, 7-letter word for vengeance. Out Q, 11-letter word for mercy. You're so funny.
Oh,
In
buddy.
A, revenge. Out A, forgiveness. Revenge is in, which really is the theme of the whole book. So I think it like that State of the Union in particular like really encapsulates like what Revenge of the Wannabes is all about.
Revenge.
Revenge.
And wannabes. It really is. It's all in the
Perfect.
title. If you read anything, just read the title and you'll know what the book is.
So next month on our book club, we are covering Invasion of the Boy Snatchers. So that is in, and Revenge of the Wannabes is out.
Out.
And you know what I'm most excited about? I get to return to my color palette.
Although I don't like black and red, so if you could just pick one.
I'll do
Instead
a
of
red
the
lip and wear
combination.
black, probably.
Perfect. Thank
yeah,
you.
just like
Okay.
exactly. I'll feel right
Great.
at home.
Perfect.
So, GLUs, thank you so much for joining us for this month's book club for Revenge of the Wannabes. I'm Ellen Marlowe.
I'm Lacey Harrison. Please don't judge me. I'm a nice person.
No. Could never, would never. You can stream this podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. We're on Spotify, we're on Apple Podcasts. We're also available in video format on YouTube and Substack. If you love Clique-centric content, which if you're listening to this podcast, I assume that you do, please check out our Substack, which is stateofthereunion.net, and it's very Clique heavy over there, and it's super, super fun. We have a great time. Thank you so much for listening to our show. Thank you to our producers, Isabella Betcher and Krista McLaughlin, and our graphics goddess, Bella Tamayo. We love you, GLUs. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday. Love you madly.
Love you. Bye.